Hello, my name is King-Hughes, Senior Director of Product Management at Strava. Today, we're going to talk about building diverse product teams, because building a diverse product team should be at the forefront of all product leaders' minds, because the world that we live in is very diverse, and so are our consumers. We can do so much more together than we could ever do apart. When building a diverse product team, it's not about the PM who can solve all your problems and rescue you from every pitfall and misstep. If there was a PM superhero and you hired that person, your product would be one-dimensional. When I think of a PM superhero, I think of the Avengers, a group of superheroes that come together from different backgrounds, contributing through a broader lens. Product management is not about the product. Yes, apps are awesome, but it's not an essential part of product management. How do products become great? How do they delight and engage consumers? How do they become an extension of our day-to-day? Because it's not about the product. It is simply about the people. It is about the team that comes together to identify what consumers really need to help reduce and solve problems. Diverse teams are better at solving problems because together they bring a wider range of life experiences, points of view to solve problems faster and more efficiently. Diversity equals empathy. Empathy provides a path to consumers' pain points, which serves as a launching pad for new features and services. Working with people who look alike, think alike, speak alike can be less challenging. Let's just face it, it's super easy and way more comfortable. But we all know that differences make the world go round. And it's those differences that makes products unique. It's those differences that can drive growth. When building diverse teams, remember why diversity is so important. Because diversity is different perspectives and values, which are influenced by both inherent traits as well as acquired traits. There are so many different dimensions when it comes to diversity: race, ethnicity, gender identity, age, sexual orientation, education, life experiences. All these things matter when building diverse product teams. But even this list is a short list, and it only scratches the surface. So, diversity matters, but how do you build it? How do you build diverse product teams? Well, it's not easy, but today we're going to talk about a few ways to do it. Hiring diverse product managers, you must be intentional when hiring for diversity. You must step outside of the bubble and try different hiring techniques that expand recruiting efforts. Also, make sure that you're creating a company culture that drives diversity internally and fosters a culture of appreciation. Because trust me, new hires are looking for that. Hiring people who think differently from one another can remind us of our blind spots and hopefully lead us to better solutions for all of our users. So there's 3 things that you can do in the hiring process that I would like to recommend today. Rethink culture fit. Instead of trying to evaluate how a candidate would blend into the existing norms, flip that around and think about this. What will this person add to our culture that we may not already have? And what specific values are they aligned with? 2, check your bias. Conduct blind resume reviews where you don't see the candidate's name or headshot. Standardizing your interview questions and giving skill-based interview questions can help to mitigate bias in the hiring process. 3, take a look at your recruitment material. Make sure your recruitment material show and prove diversity in your recruiting, in your company, but please be authentic. So if it's not there, find a path to include it in your recruitment material, in your HR and hiring processes, and in the culture of your company. Because it's one thing to attract a diverse candidate. What you really want to do is you want to onboard them and retain them so that you can build and continue to build diverse product teams. This is such a critical step when you're building a diverse team. I would say it's almost the most important, because I love this quote by Verma Myers. Diversity is being invited to the party. Inclusion is being asked to dance. So yes, you've hired them, but now what? It is important that your culture is not just about hiring a diverse candidate. Yay, you're here. But it's important for that candidate to feel like they belong, that they're actually a part of the team, that they have a voice, that they matter, that you really want them there to contribute and share their thoughts, ideas, life experiences, that you're truly looking for a different point of view that may not necessarily fit into your current box. So once you have your diverse team, create spaces that guarantee everyone's voice is heard. And this benefits the entire team. Because remember, not everyone likes to speak up in meetings. Set agendas ahead of time so everyone can contribute. Create a space in group meetings for individual brainstorming and provide other channels for feedback. Minda Hart talks about this a little bit in her book, The Memo. Cultivate an environment that includes psychological safety. This is so very important because this will allow your product team members to take risks and speak up when they have an idea that may positively disrupt your business. And you want that because it's those ideas that makes your product unique, that increases your competitive advantage and increases your return on investment, which also increases your revenue. Building a more inclusive environment means you have to check in with your PM team members to make sure that everyone still feels as if they belong. It also extends at the company level, establishing employee resource group and making sure you're being very clear when it comes to promotions and advancement within the company, because this helps to remove guesswork and also helps to reduce bias. And this way, all employees are looped in on how they can grow their professional career within your company. And if you need additional help, think about implementing a diversity and inclusion committee to help provide guidance of inclusion and help with hiring for diversity. Research shows that being intentional about building diverse teams leads to a number of different benefits. For example, one study found that companies run by culturally diverse leaderships were most likely to develop new products than companies that were not. A separate study on gender found that companies with more women were likely to bring new innovations to market within a 2-year period. 2-year. Diversity breeds creativity and innovation, which is like a huge help to any product team. Diversity leads to better return on investment. According to a study by McKinsey, across a variety of industries, companies that were racially and ethnically diverse were 30% more likely to have financial returns above the national industry medians. And companies that were gender diverse were 15% more likely to financially outperform their industry medians. So those are huge gains, huge gains. So it's saying diversity can lead to more than a 35% financial return above their industry's median. And if you're focusing on gender, then you're 15% more likely to financially outperform. And so what does that say? That says that stepping outside of your box, bringing in people with different backgrounds, life experiences, races, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender identity, can grow your business. That's it, plain and simple. It can grow your business, which means you're attracting new consumers, that you are meeting both your strategic and operational goals. Diverse teams have better employee recruitment and retention. When it comes to recruiting top talent, diversity is something that candidates are keeping an eye out for. According to a recent Glassdoor survey, it found that 76% of job seekers say diversity is an important factor when considering working for a company and accepting job offers. So if you want to ensure that you have an employee pool that will be around for generations to come, note that candidates are looking for companies who have diversity at the forefront. And so when you're building your product teams, trust me, people are going out on LinkedIn and they're looking to see who else is on that product team. Is there anyone on that team that looks like me? Is there anyone on that team that maybe from the LGBTQ plus community? If those things are not on your team, then it's more likely that that potential candidate will look elsewhere for opportunities. I love this quote. Diversity drives innovation. When we limit who can contribute, we in turn limit what problems we can solve. And I hope today we've learned that we can solve so many more problems together by thinking outside of the box when it comes to hiring diverse product managers. There's a strong benefit there. It is not just about finding the one who we all look alike, we all talk alike, we all came from a particular school, because that doesn't drive creativity or innovation. That's rinsing and repeating and expecting a different outcome. And I believe that's the definition of insanity. But if we step outside of the norms and we explore others, we can learn so much more. We can gain so much more in the field of product management. When I first started in product management, I sat in a room with individuals. They all looked alike, they all thought alike, and that's what the norm was. And if you were in that room and had a different point of view, your point of view was most likely shadowed by all the other individuals who looked alike and thought alike and spoke alike. But that product never went anywhere. Over and over again, that product and that product team solved the same problems and got the same outcome. But as you see in this presentation today, that when you go outside of the box, diverse teams solve problems so much faster because they have such a broader lens to bring in solving that problem. And isn't that what we want, to solve problems faster? Isn't that what we want, to appeal to a broader range of consumers from various backgrounds? Do we want to build products that are one-dimensional? When we build products today, we have to think about so many things, the business, but we also have to think about product inclusion, accessibility. How do we ensure that our product is truly for everyone if we start off with exclusion? It's time for product teams to represent the consumers that they're building for, because that way you can be assured that you're aligning yourself and truly meeting the needs of your consumers, your intended audience, that you're not excluding them because you're excluding creativity and hiring people who look like your consumers, people that you would want to soak in all the wonders that your product has to offer. And you can only do that when we open our minds and say, hey, we've tried this. We've tried in the box. If you look around the room or look around the Zoom in your product meeting, and everyone looks alike, everyone has pretty much the same background or do the same thing on the weekend, then you could be falling into the trap of rinse and repeat and wondering why the product isn't moving in the direction that you would like it to, and wondering why no one is positively disrupting. I love those two words together. And that is simply because you haven't tapped into truly building a team with different points of view, building a team that has different races, genders, even religious affiliations. All of those things can contribute to building a diverse team. I want to thank you so much for your time today and being able to share this area that is so passionate for me about building diverse teams. I've read a book some years ago. An SVP shared it with me, and it was called The Medici Effect. And when she shared that book, I read it from cover to cover because it highlighted how diverse teams increase return on investment and revenue for Fortune 500 companies. And so I challenge you today to step outside the box. If you go into your next meeting, whether it's in the office or on Zoom, and look around. And if your product team does not represent the consumers that you want to attract, then it's time to pause, take a step back, and come up with a plan on how you truly can build diverse teams. Thank you, and have a great day.